Hi, I'm gonna be reviewing a video called 31 Health Cheat Codes I Know at 31 that I wish I knew at 21.
Here are 31 healthy habits, or cheat codes, if you will, that I know now at 31 and that I would tell my 21-year-old self if I could go back in time. Number 1, no fast.
Walks with her coffee in the hand. Okay, the video is already done. Nothing you say will be taken seriously by me after that.
Workouts, at least for women. You might have heard that working out on an empty stomach is gonna make you burn more fat, because if your body does not have
Why do you talk about burning fat? Really, you look underweight. It's not healthy to be at such a body weight.
any energy in the form of food in its system yet, it has to tap into the energy sources that it's stored, which is our fat storage. But if you do this, you're gonna spike your cortisol levels. Cortisol is our body's stress hormone. It's naturally high in the morning. It's naturally high when we don't eat, and it's naturally high.
Yeah, exactly, because your body is trying to get you to eat. That's why you shouldn't starve.
We're not so naturally high when we work out. And when we combine being hungry and working out, putting extra stress in our body, it's gonna raise our cortisol levels to an unhealthy extent. And that is
She calls it stress, but then still does it herself. Makes no sense. You should avoid stress.
most likely gonna mess up your hormones. So what I do now, because I still like my morning workouts, I have a protein shake with at least 15 grams of protein plus a little bit of carbs, usually in the form of fruits, a banana, a date, a kiwi, whatever I feel like, or some crackers. Number 2, speaking of protein, eat enough protein. If you're an active person, meaning that you work out on a regular basis, you should...
When I look at her hands, they look very wrinkly. I'm older than her. I'm a guy, but that should make a difference. I think that it's the low body weight and of course also the working out, and who knows what else she does.
Aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Because first, protein is the stuff that all of our cells are to a large extent made of.
Yeah, eat flowers, overcooked dry meat and rice.
Second, without eating enough protein, you can work out as much as you want, but you will not really see much results because your muscles do not have the protein, the building stuff to build the muscle.
Yeah, but you also forget something. You need testosterone. And you as a woman just will not be able to build a lot of muscle because you're not naturally supposed to. That's it. You're not supposed to be doing all the physical work. That's why no matter how much you work out, you will get leaner, lose body fat, if that's what you're into. Men are not into that. But you will not become muscular. That's why women need to hop on testosterone, actual hormones, and inject them or take them as pills to gain muscle. Not recommending that.
Cells. And third, protein keeps you full for longer, so it keeps you from overeating. Plus, the calories from protein are worth less than the calories from carbs, for example, because your body...
It's actually just meat. If you eat meat and also fat especially, then you will be full, satiated. I don't even think that she eats enough fat, obviously.
Needs more energy burning the calories from protein. Number 4, no coffee on an empty stomach, optimally about 90 minutes after waking up. This is because right after waking up, our cortisol levels, our stress hormone levels, naturally are the highest, meaning we are awake naturally. And first, if you put caffeine on top of that, you spike your cortisol levels to an unhealthy or unhealthy-ish level. And second, you waste the effect of that caffeine because you're already as awake as can be, but 90 minutes after waking up, your cortisol levels are going down, meaning adenosine, a chemical that makes us sleepy, starts building up, but you can block that adenosine by drinking caffeine, keeping you from getting...
Man, what the fuck are you teaching women or people in general? You're just describing somebody who's lethargic because they have a horrible diet and a horrible breakfast, or they ate horrible food the last evening, or generally every day. Because you shouldn't feel like this. You should wake up, smile, be happy, with energy, and just live your life. Not with eye bags, dark eye circles, where's my coffee? Like all the slaves today. Why recommend drinking toxic seed water at all? Yeah, you should never drink that. Eat liver, eat heart, spleen. It's gonna give you real energy, and it will last. And it's not gonna be just some adrenaline rushing through your blood.
Sleepy. So this timing helps you to feel more awake while not messing with your body's natural rhythm. Number 5, also think of veggies as a protein source. When I was younger, I did not know there's anything except for vitamins and micronutrients in vegetables.
And you still don't know that there aren't any? There's no vitamins and minerals. There are, technically. Yeah, some minerals in the fiber, which you can get to. And then there's vitamin C. Yeah, but all the vitamins are in meat. Not if you cook it that much, but in general. If you want vitamins and minerals, you eat meat, eggs.
But when I started tracking my protein intake, I noticed that there can be a lot of protein in vegetables.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, on paper, but not actually bioavailable. And it's very little anyway.
For example, spinach has more protein per 100 calories than tofu, and broccoli.
Yeah, because it has no calories. Because nobody can eat kilograms of spinach. So how is that relevant? And it's not a complete protein anyway, as in what you find in animals, which is what you're made out of also. That's why it's called complete or incomplete protein.
Has more than beef. And yes, I say protein per 100 calories and not per 100 grams because I think that makes a lot more sense because...
That makes no sense because nobody's going to eat kilograms of flowers or green leaves. It's irrelevant, actually.
I think you should focus on nutrient efficiency, especially if you're looking to up your protein intake, which you probably should be doing.
Oh man, I'm already regretting watching this video.
Because most people are not hitting their 1 gram of pound of body weight every day. It makes a lot more sense to focus on the protein content per calories and not per gram. Because, for example, they say that in nuts there's a lot of protein, which is true-ish if you look at the protein content per gram or 100 grams, but not if you look at the calories. And yes, the calorie counting thing is a bit not as easy as just counting the calories together, but still, nutrient efficiency is the best way to go, in my opinion. I link a PDF down below where I put together the most important protein sources and rank them according to their protein content per 100 calories. I think this is a really cool cheat sheet to make it easier for you to up your protein intake without overeating in terms of calorie. And once again, because I'm saying protein all the time, I'm sorry, I'm trying to say protein. You guys keep mocking me of that, but I'm still learning and improving my English pronunciation. Number 7.
Who cares? Nutrient efficiency makes no sense. Why would you count the calories if nobody's gonna eat that many plants or nuts or anything? What you should look at is how many nutrients there are in... You shouldn't look at the numbers anyway. I've never counted calories in my life, but if you do, how many nutrients there are in 100 grams or however much you're going to eat, but that's just the way people measure it. Why calories? You're not going to eat kilograms of spinach or broccoli anyway, as I said. So what's the point? Look at how many nutrients there are in 100 grams of liver. It's the most nutrient-dense food on earth. Then look at brain. You eat a little bit of that, you're completely satiated micronutrient-wise. Eat as much spinach and broccoli as you want. Those plants don't have over 15 micronutrients. What a freaking dumb video.
Number 11, get sunlight in the morning without sunglasses. This is also...
What is up with this garbage about getting sunlight in the morning or in the evening always? It's the weakest. Yeah, it's beautiful and it's great. Do it, but I also do it. But really, when you need to get sunlight, when you need to be under the highest power, is around noon. Depending on where you live, your skin type, yeah, but really, that's the case for most people. It's not enough. You don't look like you get a lot of sunlight. You look kind of pale.
So a tip that I got from our beloved Andrew Huberman.
That explains this whole video. Oh my god. One of the most ignorant people on earth.
When you go outside in the morning and expose your eyes to sunlight without sunglasses, your eyes can absorb that sunlight and send signals to your body to realize that now it's time to be awake. And it also sends your body the signals that...
Well, yeah, because in nature, you would be... In nature, as in under the sun. Of course.
About 14 hours after that, it needs to be sleepy again. So it also helps you to fall asleep better at night. Number 12, no coffee after 2 p.m. Tops, even better.
No coffee ever. But why do you waste like 2 free points on coffee also? What is this? Like she couldn't make up the 31 points. She just throws in some random garbage.
Number 18, have some salt with your morning water. Sounds gross and also maybe a bit counterintuitive.
Sounds gross and counterintuitive. Yeah. And why do you do that then? Everything that's counterintuitive is something that you should never do. And if something is gross, You never put that in your body. You don't even touch it. You don't even look at it.
If you've heard that salt is bad, this is not necessarily the case though.
Oh, really?
So to some extent, there is some good stuff in salt. This is why,
Well, what is the good stuff?
it even exists in our food and stuff. And when you add...
No, it doesn't exist in your food. What food has salt? Processed man-made food, which is not even food, as in sauces, chips, grain sludge with salt. What are you talking about? The real food for humans is animal flesh. There's no salt in the animals that we eat. You can argue about fish, seafood, but they have a special filtration system, the ones that live in the sea.
Some salt to your morning water, you help your body remineralize with the electrolyte sodium, which...
Yeah, sodium chloride. Why would you need that from crystallized rocks? It's not found in your body. Oh my god. You're so messed up, man. Remineralize with sodium. It's like saying do it with only potassium or only calcium. It's not the case here exactly. It's sodium chloride, but whatever the case, you can't just name one mineral and then get it from an unnatural source and get 100 times more than you need, and then think that you will get the perfect amount of minerals. No, the perfect amount of minerals you get from meat, and there's very little sodium in there.
Which we do need, just not too much of it. If you're healthy. If you're not, or if you're unsure if you should actually increase your sodium by a little bit in the morning, talk to a doctor. But if you're healthy, this can really help with being more alert and also with
So you should not use salt if you're not healthy? Is that what she said? Meaning that it can be dangerous? Yeah, always anyway.
Number 20, use sunscreen every day. Yes, every day.
Every day. I could understand if she would say, when you go to the beach, which I don't recommend. If you really are at the beach for a long time, then use some kind of beef fat.
Even if it's cloudy, your older self will...
Even if it's cloudy? How the fuck are you gonna produce any vitamin D then?
Well, thank you. I, at 31, am noticing now who of my friends was in the sun a lot and was not using a lot of sunscreen and who was. It's just gonna make your skin healthier, let alone...
Yeah, maybe look at the ingredients of these creams that you use.
Decrease the risk of skin cancer, obviously. Number 21.
Yeah, of course, putting harmful chemicals on your skin will decrease the chance of skin cancer. I love this girl's logic, and it just really makes sense, everything that she says.
Start a anti-inflammatory diet as soon as
And was that rice and broccoli?
possible, because the earlier you start, the sooner you will see the results, or the less likely you will see the result of not doing it. Because if you eat inflammatory foods all the time, you are a lot more likely to develop diseases like autoimmune diseases or even things like allergies. And there are two most efficient ways to do this. First, eat less saturated fat, aka the fat in animals.
Oh my god, man. This is just so much worse than I thought.
And stuff, and eat more healthy fats.
Yeah, saturated fats are in donuts. Yeah. Okay, bacon, butter, understandable. That's good for you. Not bacon necessarily because of the way pigs are raised and the salt, whatever. That's a different topic, but what are you made out of? What is wrong with this girl? You look at me right now. Look, it's saturated fat. But then don't consume saturated animal fat, which your cells are made out of. So don't consume what you're made out of, consume plant oils, but then get your body to try to convert it to saturated fat and the sugar that you eat and everything into short chain fatty acids and everything, and then try to survive like that. Like, how does that make sense? That's all that your body wants. Your body is like what? Something like 3% polyunsaturated oils, something like 18 mono, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to differ human to human anyway, but it's mostly made out of saturated fat, the fat itself. So what should you eat if that's what your body is mostly made out of? Fucking hell, man. What is that?
aka unsaturated fats, such as avocado, if you like that weird stuff, olive oil, nuts and seeds. And second,
Wait, what does she mean, weird stuff? Sushi or what? So raw meat is weird, or what is she saying? And more vegetable. Oh my god, this is the worst video ever, man. How can you learn this in 10 years? You went the completely wrong way.
add more anti-inflammatory things into your diet, like herbs and
Herbs are super inflammatory because they are toxic. Everything that's toxic is inflammatory because inflammation is your body's response to toxicity. For example, can also be stressful situations, trauma.
spices, especially cumin, turmeric, and cinnamon.
Man, that stuff is toxic. Those are antibiotics. That's inflammatory as hell. The reason you say that they are anti-inflammatory is because you looked at dumb studies which say that when you consume that, you produce chemicals, antioxidants, such as glutathione, in response to these toxic ingredients, spices. Yeah, but if you wouldn't, then you wouldn't need to produce any of these antioxidants, for example, as in your body wouldn't be inflamed, it would be fine. The whole reason you do is because those foods cause inflammation. That's why your body produces these chemicals or releases them to get the inflammation down, the white blood cells. That's the whole purpose. How can you be so wrong?
These are my absolute anti-inflammatory favorites. Number 22.
She's recommending the opposite of what you should. If there would be such a thing as anti-inflammatory foods, then it would be the foods which are high in saturated fat, all the meat, organs, brain, bone marrow. Just look at bone marrow and tell me that that can be inflammatory. If it's from healthy animals, obviously. Just walk away.
23. Mind the caffeine in cacao. I did not know when I was younger that there is a solid amount of caffeine in cacao. Meaning,
Yeah, that's how they get children addicted to it, and then they start drinking coffee. It's all done on purpose.
if you eat chocolate, especially dark chocolate, which is very healthy,
Then you have cravings for raw liver.
yes, but if you eat a lot of dark chocolate in the evening, it's gonna keep you from sleeping well as well. But that also means that during the day, when you are feeling a bit low and could use some energy but don't want to have a
How is that energy by any definition? How are stress hormones energy? Tell me.
coffee because it's already in the afternoon, maybe have a piece of dark chocolate. The darker, the better. Number 24, don't stare
Makes no sense. Makes zero sense, this whole video.
any caffeine or sugar. Number 30, always eat enough. It is okay to do a caloric deficit if you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat. Very important distinction here. But don't deprive your body of calories. Yes, also calories are important. This is important for, first, keeping our body used to the calories, so not experiencing a yo-yo effect. Second, to feed our nerves. Third, to help our energy levels not get too low, and to not mess up our hormones, both our stress hormones as well as our sexual hormones. Because, for example, if you don't eat enough for a long amount of time, you're going to lose your period, which is something you don't want. Meaning, eat enough fat, enough protein, enough carbs.
But you said not to eat fat. You're promoting plant oils. Yeah, if you don't eat animal fat, you will have problems with your period, which really just means that you will become infertile. And if you work out and have such a low body weight, the fat is too low, as it is with her, then yeah, of course, that's what you can expect, obviously.
Carbs, and other than that, eat the rainbow. Just try to eat as many different foods as possible.
But you said not to eat what we eat naturally. You said to stay away from what humans eat in nature.
Number 31, mind your hormones. Hormones regulate basically everything in our body, whether it's our mind or our body, how we look, how we feel, if we're happy, if we're depressed, if we're having a baby, if we're not, if we're in love, if we're not, everything. And one hormone that is incredibly powerful and has an effect on our whole system is cortisol, or stress hormone. If we're stressed out all the time, which many of us are way too much, our cortisol levels are going to be way too high, and that's going to affect our whole mental and physical health. So I urge you to not repeat my mistakes and to try to not stress yourself out more than necessary.
Nothing this girl said makes any sense. At the end, she says that you shouldn't be stressed, but then promotes coffee, chocolate, working out, toxic vegetables. If you eat and live like that, then you're going to be stressed almost 24/7. And then you're going to age very quickly. What was this video? Wow. Even vegans usually have better recommendations for health, and that's really saying something. She just went wrong with everything. Just everything twisted upside down. It's as if she read the perfect government guidelines of what you should be eating and doing in your everyday life as a woman, and then she made a video. Because you could expect something else, because she said that this is what she learned in the last 20 years, so what she at least would have liked to know 10 years ago. So you would think that she came to some great realizations, conclusions now, but this is what everybody promotes. Eat your toxic veggies, which have no nutrients, be malnourished, work out, which women never used to do up until 10 years ago, have super low body fat, become infertile, don't have children. She didn't say don't have children, but really it just boils down to the same, because if you don't eat animal fat, getting pregnant is going to be very, very hard. And just stress yourself all the time, which also makes it very hard to become pregnant, to reproduce. For a man, and of course for a woman also, men will have trouble impregnating the woman then. It's a biochemical warfare what's going on today, and she's promoting exactly what they would love you to do. I would have hoped that she learned at least something in these 10 years. Women nowadays believe that it's good to work out, to stress yourself and be at such a low body fat. Who taught them this? It's not healthy, you're not fertile, it doesn't look attractive. There's nothing in any way good about it. Don't stress yourself, eat a lot of meat, ideally organs, a lot of fat, even if it's dairy. I know that it's easier for women to do that because of brainwashing. Stay away from the vegetables, also all the processed garbage, obviously. Eat the most nutrient-rich foods. Then you will be biochemically healthy, you will want children, and once you do, you will realize what the purpose of life is, more or less, as much as you can in slavery. And then you will realize that you were wrong about everything. Until you are biochemically healthy and you really know what you want in your life, you will just not get it. When you stay at such a low body weight and eat your vegetables, and when you're this malnourished, you will just not get what life is even about. You will just completely delusionally live your life thinking that you need to work out or do some kind of meaningless garbage. Only when you're biochemically healthy, you will realize that you want a family, probably when it will be too late, in your 30s or 40s. And then if you do get lucky and you do have children, then you will realize that it was all nonsense. This is the conclusion that she should have come to. For 10 years, I did everything wrong. Now I started eating naturally. I wanted to have children all of a sudden. I held my baby. And one day my baby said, "Mama." It was the best moment of my life, and I realized that everything that I did in my life was wrong. That's the kind of video you would expect. If this is what you would teach your 21-year-old self, then you would be the most depressed woman on earth in your 30s. Horrible. Thanks for watching, guys.